Hello, this is Jainam Mehta Mr.Y-Ral, your buddy, and I'm back with one more video for you guys. So this one is the famous metallic screechy sound which is used by a lot of producers like Skrillex, Zomboy, mst.y, like Panda Eyes, Virtual Riot, Spag Heddy, Ismag, Soltan, Volpe, and a lot of other producers. And yep, so as I promised that I'll put this up for a free download when my channel hits like 1500 subscribers. Here it is. So as you know, and if you don't, then this patch has 4 variations to it. So without wasting much time, I'll play the first variation for you guys. So playing it in 3, 2, 1, go. So that was the first variation. Now let's listen to the second variation of the same sound. So playing it in 3, 2, 1, go. So that's 2 variations and 2 more to go. So playing the third variation now. Playing it in 3, 2, 1, go. So that's 3 variations of the same patch. Now let's check out the 4th variation. So playing it in 3, 2, 1, go. So as you can see, this patch is quite amazing because it has so many sounds in just one patch. So let's see what we have here, and like that is if you wish to see what I did. It's going to be very boring because a lot of things go on here, and if you're lazy then you can just go to my page facebook.com/mr.yral. A link would appear somewhere over here, and send me a message over there for a link to all the downloads. I have like maybe, I don't know, 20 downloads or something like that. So just send me a message and I'll send you the link to all the downloads at once. So now let's see what stuff goes behind making this one. So there's form and square on the oscillator 1, having the wavetable position to somewhere pointing towards the N, and it is modulated by the first macro. The same way, there's the first macro on the spectrum intensity, which is all the way towards the left hand side. Now the amp goes all the way up, and by up I mean towards the right hand side, and it is modulated by the third what is this, macro, and it goes completely into filter 1. And on the second oscillator we have a dirty throat, and it has the wavetable position all the way towards the left hand side, the spectrum all the way towards the left hand side too, and the amp towards left hand side too. And here the wavetable position and the amp are controlled by the third macro, and the intensity of the second of the spectrum of the oscillator 2 is controlled by the first modulation macro. Now on the third oscillator we have our good old friend carbon. So I used carbon only because it has the short, sharp, metallic attack when you put it all the way towards the left hand side. Okay, I'll just show you how it sounds with just the carbon, and you can probably get my point then. So that's what something I like. It makes it a little bit more sharper and gives it a nice feel to it. It's not much noticeable, but what's the harm in having the third oscillator running? So that's that, and its amp value is controlled by the first macro, and all the three oscillators go completely to the filter 1. Now on the filter 1 we have a double notch which has the following settings: the cutoff all the way towards the left hand side, and the resonance to somewhere pointing towards the R. And for the first part it is being modulated by the macro number 1, and the area which is modulated by the first macro is modulated by the second modulation macro. So I did that, and its gain is 100%. You don't need to do anything with the filter 2. Now put the mix all the way towards the mix 2 so that the FX2 plays, and we have nothing over here, so we'll know why we did that. I'll tell you. And the series parallel to parallel all the way, and the mix 1 versus 2 is modulated by the first modulation macro. Now on the FX1 I have a Bronner tube which has the drive it to somewhere pointing towards the D, and the drive also points towards the D, a little bit below the D I mean. On the second we have the dimension expander so that we have a bigger sound, a wider sound, and it has the following settings. It is like 60% width, and it points towards the T, and there's just a very small size for the expansion or the expanding, and no modulations over here. On the EQ tab we have the low shelf going all the way up towards the right hand side, the boost going all the way down, the frequency pointing towards the R, and the high shelf all the way up. Now the boost is being modulated by the first macro from 0 to somewhere near the T, and the high shelf is being modulated by the third macro coming down to somewhere near the edge from the 100% effective like 100% position. Not exactly 100%, but this position I mean. Now on the oscillator tab we need to switch this option restart via gate on, and this is very essential if you are making new sounds, because you need, like, not essential, but if you want to have a uniform sound every time you play a note, then this option is quite necessary, and you need to put all the phases to 0, which they would be at 0 by default. And if you like randomness, just switch this off and you'll get your randomness. And on the voicing tab we need to have 3 unison voices, and switch this pan position on, on the voicing tab we need to have 3 unison voices on, and also the pan position should be on, and this slider should be all the way towards the left hand side so that we have a wide and a huge sound. Now for the insert one we need to have the parabolic shaper, and the drive width level is 50%, and the drive is also at 50%. So that's it for the basic patch, and now let's look at the main part of the whole patch. So the modulation oscillator is what makes this sound happen. So we need to have the phase modulation on for the first oscillator, and the pitch would be 36 semitones above the 0 level, and the phase knob would be all the way towards the left hand side, modulated by the first macro going to somewhere around 30%, from 0 to 30%. And for the fourth macro would control the plus minus 24, not plus minus actually, but would control the pitch up to plus 24 for the modulation oscillator. And so I think that's the whole sound done. Okay, so I missed this part. We need to have the decay level all the way up so that it doesn't sound very shitty. And if you have it like this, it will have a sharp attack, and then it would die out to be a somewhat lower level, which is very stupid. And so you need to have it all the way up. And that's pretty much it for the whole sound. So now let's have a look at what would happen if you what would happen to the sound if you tweak specific knobs. So this is the whole game changer of the sound. Like without this being alive, the sound would sound something like this. And with this all the way up, so this is what controls the whole sound, the modulation of the whole sound. And these are the three knobs which kind of make a difference and bring about a variation to the whole sound. So this one is controlling, as we talked about it, this one is controlling the area of the modulation of the cutoff. So if you tweak this will be the change in the sound. So playing it in 3, 2, 1, go. So that's what you can do with this knob. And with this knob, it turns down the amp for oscillator 1 and keeps it on for these two oscillators. So it basically switches on from this one playing to this one playing. So it will sound something like this. So that's it for this third variation. And now let's look at the high pitched sound. So when you have the fourth macro controlling the pitch of the modulation oscillator, you just when you would put it all the way towards the left hand side, it will be 36 plus 24. So it will increase the pitch of the modulation oscillator by 2 octaves, and you would have a very high pitched sound, which is quite nice. And so it would sound something like this. So that's it for the whole sound, and I know it was very boring, but it was interesting that we got so many variations with one massive patch. And yep, that's it for the patch. And now let's look at the whole processing that goes behind it. And it's, to be honest, and it's not really much. So this is the bass, this is my voice. Okay, so this is the bass and this is the sub, and this I routed both to go into the 19th insert, which goes into the side chain insert of the mixer, and which goes to the master after it is sidechained by the kick plus snare channel or insert. I don't know what that's called. And on the bass we just have a bloody overdrive, which makes it sound a bit bigger. Add a little bit of reverb so that it doesn't sound really dry. Then both of those go to the sub, where I have a fruity balance so that I can modulate or control the volume of the whole thing at once. And I do this on every bass patch to cut away the dirty parts of any bass I don't need. So it's quite nice. So yep, that's pretty much it. And I hope you liked the whole video. It was a bit long and a bit boring, and I could not have explained it better myself at this time. It's 1:30 in the morning right now and I'm really tired. And for the free download, just go to my page and send me a message, and I'll send you the link for the downloads. And subscribe, like this video, share it with your buds, and yep, that's it. Goodbye.
I'm a good boy, mommy.